Welcome back, True Seeker. It is October 18th, 2025, a Saturday. Here we are in the United States of America, where almost no one knows what happened exactly 6 years ago to this day, despite the efforts of people like yours truly and others. Again, 6 years ago today, all of the people who profited off Cooties 19 simulated Cooties 19, led by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Economic Forum, the Johns Hopkins University, big pharma, big banks. Only 2 CDCs in the world participated, that of the US and that of China. But yeah, to this day, people still don't know about Event 201, which took place October 18th, 2019, 6 years ago to the day. And this is CNN's front page, what we know about today's No Kings 2 protest. They're focused on what could go down in Los Angeles. They think there will be violence there. The Department of Homeland Security has notified the police to expect violence in Los Angeles. We're going to get to why CNN is also covering the 6-7 meme, which was on South Park this week. People asked me at the beginning of the year what the whole 6-7 thing was about. Pretty obvious when you know Gematria. If you read the CNN article, it's a bunch of bullshit and coded information that lies to the reader, and we'll get to what a joke it is. Here, just to make a long story short, if you read that CNN article, it proposes that the number 41 could replace the 6-7 meme. And I just wanted to show you how all of their news is coded information. So if you read this article, you'll see that it ends by saying 41 could replace 6-7 in culture. Okay. They're doing this on the day of the No Kings protest. Do you see how king equals 67 and 41 in this system of coding numbers into words? Again, if you're new here, you need to learn this system to see through what's really going on in the world each day. You'll see through all the bullshit, the rig sports. Hey, by the way, congrats to the winners last night. We hit on both big major college football upsets, both ranked games, major upsets last night. Continuing to smash the world of sports. Shout out to the gentleman who changed his life this week, turning $1,000 into $50,000. Again, the kind of stuff you can do by understanding what's really going on, something you'll never learn by reading bullshit news stories. But yeah, if you read the CNN story, it does close out by saying 41 can replace 6-7. And again, you can see that the word king equals 67 and 41, and that's not really what the 6-7 meme is about. But this is why, no doubt, these stories are on the front page of CNN this morning at the same time. What 6-7 is about, if you just read the lyrics to the song, and we covered this at the beginning of the year, it's about killing. The whole opening part of the song before he says 6-7 is about killing his ops and this and that, just like typical rap music. But the word killer is 67 and 41. And again, if you're new here, this system of coding numbers into words, it's very simple. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. It's the alphabetic order with numerology applied. Killer 31. Remember what they just did to Charlie Kirk in a 67 ritual? Charlie Kirk just got the 6-7 treatment at age 31, at least so we're told. Again, his body was loaded into an SUV, no real crime scene, no autopsy, paved over the site. The story is that he got the 6-7 treatment, but did he really? Anyway, that's the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order, and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. So again, today's CNN story closes out with saying 41 could replace 6-7, and it also says numerous times throughout the article that 6-7 has no real meaning. Again, that's a total load of shit. This 67 number is connected to all kinds of killing. And in light of them being so focused on LA, think who's down in LA. King James, right? King James. And remember, when LeBron went to the Lakers, you guys weren't here at the time. Again, he left Ohio, Cleveland on the first day of the 7th month. I told you that very day. I said, just wait until his 17th season. He'll win the Lakers their 17th championship. Exactly what he did. Ohio, the 17th state. He leaves on 1-7. It's all rituals by the numbers. But remember, he went to LA, and then days after going to the Lakers, 2 former UCLA Bruins, University of California, Los Angeles basketball players, were both dead in 67 rituals. We covered this at the time. I said, look at that. Within days of going to LA, just 2 UCLA basketball players are dead, and they both had the 67 connection. Well, when that 17th season came around, who died? Kobe Bryant died at 41. and he died on 67 date numerology, January 26, 2020. 1 plus 26 plus 20 plus 20, 67. And I'm sure anyone looking at the screen recognizes the King 23 in light of LeBron, who's worn 23 for a lot of his career. Don't forget, LeBron won the finals exactly 41 weeks after his birthday on Father-Daughter Day, after Kobe and his daughter died. And just for the record, Kobe Bryant's also 41. So anyway, you have this story up here today, and again, that's what I talk about every day, how the news is all themed, how it's all ritualism. By the way, the opening lyrics to this song, where 6'7" became the viral meme, just to read it: shades on bull with the glasses, bro sayer cause he a savage. Isn't it sad how stupid rap music's gotten? For all you young guys that listen to this crap, go back and listen to when rap music was becoming a thing, like people who were really putting it on the map, like Eric B and Rakim. I mean, Rakim must look at this and just go, oh my God, like how dumb has society gotten? Had rap music started out this way, it would have never became popular. Again, there's no intelligence to like anything that's on the radio. And look, society's never been as dumb as it is either, listening to this crap. But anyway, so many dead ops, so many ashes. So, all right, we're starting to talk about his dead opposition. You ain't catch that. I can't pass this. Shooters stay strapped. So again, we're referencing how he's a killer. His ops are dead. He's always strapped. He's got his gun. I don't need mine, bro. Put belt right to the behind. So he's killing people by whipping them with the belt. The way that switch burped, I know he dying. 6'7". So again, just we've talked about 67 and celebrity death about, I don't even know how many times, thousands of times in the 12 years I've been here educating about this. Again, imagine the channel hadn't been deleted 20 some times and it was allowed to grow like it had grown rapidly, especially after things like when Prince died, since I called Prince's death the day that his girlfriend died, the day of the 58th Grammys. Again, maybe all the teenagers would be educating about what 6'7" means instead of yelling it out like a bunch of morons in the classroom having no idea what they're saying. Anyway, and then you read CNN's article about how this number has no meaning. And then in the end, they propose just out of nowhere that maybe 41 will replace 67. Again, the news media mocks you every day and plays you for fools. And here, just to pull up the bottom of this article, there's a lot more information here that I put into this, but I just want to scroll to the bottom of the CNN article. Here's how it ends. Perhaps 6'7" is already on its way out. It survived for nearly a year, essentially a century in TikTok time. Some of Dannenbring's students are starting to roll their eyes when they hear their classmates yelling it. Middle school teacher and comedian Philip Lindsay says he's already hearing potential replacements in his classroom. 41 for one, another similarly meaningless number that makes kids inexplicably giggle. 41 was started to try and dethrone 6'7", Lindsay said. 6'7" just happened. 41 was pushed. See, these things aren't arbitrary. People don't realize, again, what's actually behind numbers, that words and numbers are an old world practice, and there are people that are aware of this knowledge, and there's a reason they put them out into society and seemingly have people under a spell. And if you read this article, it says like how this is a mind plague on the youth, and it's almost inexplicable how it took over their minds. No, it's not. And again, since way before 6'7" came out with this senseless song, we've been educating about what this number means for a long time. And then that's why I was surprised at the beginning of the year when somebody called in and asked me to look at the song and what 6'7" could mean. I was like, didn't the person just read the lyrics? Shouldn't it be obvious what it means? I mean, I've only been educating about 67 and killing since forever. But yeah, think about it. So on the day of the No Kings protest, they're putting this up here. And by the way, about No Kings, you see the big fat 89 there and the 35. I just want to write out King James, 89 and 35. Now remember, the election back on November 5th was on the anniversary of the Jesuits trying to assassinate King James. And don't forget who told you way before the election why they'd reinstall Trump. And don't forget who told you way before the election why there were going to be assassinations as stories in the news leading up to the election. And of course, all of that stuff happened. Also, today, they're being focused on Los Angeles, California. Again, if you read the article, they expect violence in Los Angeles, California. You see how Los Angeles, California is also 89? And do you remember when LeBron won on the real King James's birthday? Do you remember what the score was? Remember LeBron won it for the Cavs on the real King James's birthday, June 19th. People don't realize that King James's son was King Charles, and those who fought for him in the English Civil War were called Cavaliers. But remember what the score was? The Warriors, with Steph Curry born in the same hospital in Akron as LeBron. The Warriors went down with 89 points. Those who fought for King James were Warriors called Cavaliers. It's all one big ritual. It's all one big rigged joke. Anyway, and by the way, the Los Angeles Dodgers cooking last night. Shohei Ohtani, number 17 on the 17th, set a record. First leadoff home run in the playoffs by a pitcher who then struck out the side, who went on to hit 3 home runs on the night. Remember, Mr. Baseball for Japan died earlier this year. Ohtani hit a home run that day, and that was right after Mr. Baseball connected to the Brewers had died. And just these numbers, you guys, same numbers every year. The World Series starts on the 147th day of Dave Roberts' age. He started the postseason by getting his 57th postseason win all time. Last year, it started 147 days after his birthday, and the Dodgers got their 57th win in the World Series all time. In their 24th World Series, they won their 8th, like Kobe, 8-24, facing the Yankees in their 41st World Series. Anyway, if Roberts wins the World Series, he's going to get his 69th postseason win. We saw that 69 hit the other year when Houston picked up their 69th postseason loss to Atlanta. The same numbers hit year after year, you guys. It's all rigged, from your baseball to your NBA finals to your Super Bowl to your daily news to what's in your South Park. And you know what? Speaking of South Park, since they just did do the Charlie Kirk episode, 67 having this killing blood sacrifice connection. Run it in reverse. Blood sacrifice is also 86, like human sacrifice. By the way, the real King James died on the 86th day of the year. Anyway, this thing about Charlie Kirk dying shortly after the South Park episode. Remember, Charlie Kirk died 331 days after his birthday, so we're told, the 67th prime. And don't forget, Trey Parker, who went to Evergreen High School. That school suffered a mass shooting minutes after the Charlie Kirk shooting happened. Trey Parker of South Park's, high school, same thing. And just to remind you guys, that was in Evergreen, Colorado, which equals 88. Just like Turning Point, USA equals 88. Trey Parker graduated from Evergreen High School in 88. Charlie Kirk dead 88 days after Trump's birthday. Trump, Mr. 88. The Republican Party, 88. Etc., etc. We are the Holy Roman Empire, thus all the architecture in D.C. Actually, let me drop the Holy Roman Empire is 88. Trump's 88-foot flag poles at the White House, etc., etc. I mean, Trump's been doing 88 rituals since forever. The Mar-a-Lago raid, more bullshit by the numbers on 88, etc., etc. I see Trump pardoned George Santos. Remember, that whole thing was a tribute to the Synagogue of Satan. Those who claim to be ooze but are not. He's a Catholic. His name equals 223, like the Synagogue of Satan, like Philadelphia. That story broke at the end of 2022 and drugged through 2023. The same year the Synagogue of Satan started war and mass killing brown people in Gaza. And don't forget, Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, he went to high school in Philadelphia. For people who don't know, Philadelphia is 223, like the Synagogue of Satan. And I'm forgetting what George Santos's birth name is, but I know his birth name is 223. Here, I'll just pull up the old post. George Santos. Of course, we're having this latest round of synagogue Satan rituals with Israel right now. Let me see. Anthony DeVolder is his birth name. George Santos's birth name is Anthony DeVolder, 223. 223. And by the way, today leaves 74 days left in the year. I see he's up on the front page again for the day, leaving 74 days left in the year. And by the way, that goes with the phrase "the king." King Charles assumed the throne in his 74th year of life. So here we are on the day, leaving 74 days left in the year. No king's protest. Don't forget what happened for King Charles' 74th birthday. You guys forgot that was the University of Idaho Kings Road killings. That news broke on King Charles' 74th birthday, and you also had the Virginia Cavaliers football players murdered, 3 players murdered. That news broke on King Charles' 74th birthday, killing 74, like London, like the king. And University of Idaho's at Moscow. And what is it, Chesapeake? No, not Chesapeake, or what in the world? It's Chesapeake, where the football players were murdered. So, anyway, start by talking about that, the no kings thing, and why CNN has this stuff up here, and we'll see. I mean, there's been a lot of bodies connected to Trump over the years, from his brother dead on the Jesuit order's birthday, to his sister, the former lawyer for Reagan, dead, to his ex-wife falling down the stairs and dying 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Ignatian year on the same day he said he'd run in the 60th election, to Charlie Kirk 60 weeks after his assassination hoax. It's Charlie Kirk's, which I think is also, but a better done hoax, and more. Everything else I'm forgetting right now. Everybody who died for the 58th election, from Vanity, the day of the 58th Grammys, to Prince, Mr. Purple Rain, just before Prince died. You guys, you see how Trump's 47? See how Purple Rain's 58? Prince died 47 days before his 58th birthday for Trump, all in the lead up to him eventually becoming, obviously, number 45 that year, like they called it for him on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, 45, but before he became number 47 in this election. So, anyway, the no kings thing, yeah, today leaves 74 days left in the year. This continues on the theme of the election being on the anniversary of the Jesuits trying to kill King James. The last new King's protest was on Trump's birthday. Today's 18 weeks later. You know, that's the IHS thing in the Jesuit order's logo. The word sun is also 18, like their logo's the sun. And you can see King James died on March 27th, the 86th day of the year. Today's 27 days before King Charles' birthday. A lot of people missed the joke the first time around with No King's Day being on Trump's birthday, because Trump had the military parade, but King Charles also had the military parade in the UK on the same day. No King's Day 47, they called it, for Trump. And again, Charles' birthday is the day leaving 47 days left in the year, November 14th. Trump's related to royalty from the UK, just like almost every other U.S. president in history. So, again, almost everyone in the U.S. missed the joke of the military parade going on in the UK while we had the No King's Day protest. And rest assured, your federal government is the one that is behind these protests, and they're probably using them to build their facial recognition databases, seeing who's coming out, who's participating, who are the dissidents, whose social media do they need to suppress, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the day and age we're in. But okay. Trump proposes the Independence Arch, or the Arc de Trump. Notice Arc de Trump, another 47 joke. Arc de Trump, without numerology, is 119, like he took office with the 119th Congress. Don't forget, 119 is the 88th composite number, going with Trump 88. And as for calling it the Independence Arch, notice it equals 79, like Trump's 79 years old. Again, the 79th element on the periodic table is gold. Gold is having a banner year, hitting new records this week. Remember, in 1979, it was gold's best year ever, quadrupling in value. And for people who don't understand gold, it doesn't really ever change in value. Its value is really actually constant. What is changing is the value of the dollar. So when gold is doing very well, what that actually means is the dollar is doing very bad. And realize it's all ritualism. All of this is ritualism. And who's in office at age 79 while the dollar's doing really bad? The guy who printed off all those dollars back for Cooties 19. And don't forget who told you before we got a single paycheck that was going to cause crazy inflation, and people who'd worked their whole life and saved up money for retirement, their retirement was going to be worth diddly squat because of all the printing of that money. And for all the dopes out there that go, well, that's because there was a pandemic. No, there wasn't. That was the flu, you guys. Look up what corona was originally coined as when it was invented in 1968 or discovered. It was coined as seasonal flu. They shut down the world for seasonal flu. And they even told you there were no flu cases that year because it was all being called corona. They shut down the world for the flu. They destroyed people's livelihoods. They took people off their path, whether it was education, career, fitness, whatever. They messed up the world for a lot of people, but who it did benefit were the super rich. You know, the Jeff Bezos types. Remember that year they had to tell you that 56 new billionaires were created? Of course, everything was 56 in the time of cooties because the name of the virus is 56. Jeff Bezos was 56 years old at the time. His net wealth grew tremendously like the rest of the billionaires. Trump, a guy who's owned by billionaires, who's been bailed out by the banks, God knows how many times, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, lost his fortune a bunch of times, bailed out by the banks. Anyway, by the way, remember who told you Mr. Golden was going to win March Madness on 4-7 before the tournament began? That was an easy call in Trump's golden era, number 47. Sure enough, Golden, the former Jesuit-educated coach now of Florida, won the championship by the numbers. You know how there's a young star in the NFL right now named Golden playing for the Packers? Keep an eye on him this Sunday because it's going to be 79 days after his birthday, just for the record. See what he does. Could be his breakout game this weekend. 79 days after his birthday in the golden era. And, yeah, by the way, the day that Trump proposed this new arch, it was the day leaving 76 days left in the year. Donald John Trump, 76. Remember, the Superior General of the Jesuits is 76 right now. Trump, it was the headline the day that Arturo Sosa turned 76, that Trump was the first Republican president to get 76 million votes in an election. Again, doesn't matter who votes. It only matters who counts the votes. All of this stuff should reveal to you who's rigging the system and how fake it obviously all is. Oh, on the Jesuit leader's birthday, all of a sudden Trump's the first guy to get 76 million votes. And obviously this arch is symbolic of the thing they have over in France. What order was created in France? Oh, that's right, the Jesuits. Just like how we told you before the last World Cup why Argentina would beat France the day after Pope Francis' 86th birthday, when Argentina hadn't won since 86. They had to 86 Diego Maradona about a year before they won it. France fell to 2-2 in championships in the year 22 in the sport with 22 men on the field. A numerology special number, the master builder number. Remember, in numerology, 11 the master number, 22 the master builder, football 11 on 11, the game that captivates the mind's eye of the masses. Same masses that can't see through the obvious rigging of the system from sports to news, like they're under some kind of spell. The only reason that World Cup was then is because in December, even though they'd never done it, is because it was so hot where it was. It's like, okay, moron, you can't see that how they set it up the day after the Pope's 86th birthday is his country, when he's a big football fan, wins their first World Cup since 86. You can't see why they stationed it there to make the excuse to have it the day after his birthday. Again, it's just like really low-level moronic people that can't put two and two together. And by the way, you know, that was a life changer for a lot of people. I remember one gentleman made over $40,000 off that future. Life-changing money for him. Okay, so yeah, just the Trump, the Arc de Trump. Just another 47 joke here. How much taxpayer money is that going to cost? On that same day, the day leaving 76 days left in there, it was a Thursday. It was 35 Thursday. You know how we always educate about 35 Thursday? John Bolton, 76 years old, got indicted 35 days before his birthday. 35 Thursday paid the bills again in the NFL as well. You see how Thursday's 35? If you saw this Thursday's game, they call it the Icy Hot Bowl. Icy Hot 35. It's because the two quarterbacks were over age 40. And notice what happened in this game here. You see this? The Bengals stayed on 35 home losses as a significant underdog versus the Steelers. Nice little 35 Thursday upset. Same things we taught about for years. Remember, the football's the shape of the I. EYE 35. There are ciphers outside of the base ciphers. Septenary and Chaldean are related cipher systems. The first winning score of the Super Bowl was 35 points. Super Bowl's 35 in that septenary cipher. Football's 35 in Chaldean. So, on the same day that John Bolton gets indicted, 35 days from his birthday, again, at age 76, on the day leaving 76 days left in the year, you got 35 Thursday going in the NFL. And I forget, there was a basketball player fined for $35,000 that day. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull that story up. Kuminga, Kuminga on Thursday was fined $35,000. It's the same stuff week after week. I mean, every week I'm here talking about 35 Thursday, unless I'm so bored I don't even bring it up. But literally every week, if you pay attention, it'll be 35 rituals in the market. Years ago, I was educating about how Chinese stocks have very significant days on Thursday. And again, you follow the patterns. Again, the market's an ebb and a flow. You follow some of these Chinese stocks, you'll see they'll be like boom, 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 5 Thursdays in a row. They'll do great, but then you got to be careful because the market's always up and down. Then you might see the trend the next 3 weeks, it falls on that Thursday, that same stock. But then, hey, now it's back up for the next 5 and so on and so forth. And it's not just China, too. It's all stocks related to 35. Again, the whole market's rigged this way. The whole world of crypto is rigged this way. Your metals markets are rigged this way. Your news is rigged this way. Your sports are rigged this way. It's, again, I don't know how many times I can teach about the same thing. Last night, congrats to the winners. We had both teams to upset. Louisville, 9.5-point dog. Minnesota started out the week 8.5-point dog. By game time, they were a 7.5-point dog. But this one we were more confident about. Minnesota upsetting Nebraska. See how both schools became 5-2. Remember how Minnesota hosted Super Bowl 52? See how Minnesota equals 52. Nebraska's the Cornhuskers. You see how Cornhuskers equals 52. There was even more to it, but 5-2 for both teams with the big dog Minnesota getting the upset. And then Louisville, their coach picked up his 90th win last night, Miami 90. They were a 9.5-point dog. And you see how Miami's also 27. Mario Cristobal, the coach of Miami, who started at Oregon, he stayed on 27 regular season wins with this team, if I'm not mistaken, last night. And there was something else about it as well. I'm forgetting, but just a lot of value in both of these games. Had you parlayed both of these games together for $5, you would have made over 100. And again, that's what I teach people to do in my community. Not to be gambling degenerates, but how to turn a $5 bill. I mean, you go sit in the drive-thru and waste your gas and time and money and buy a sugary coffee for $10 from Starbucks, waste your time, money, and health. Or you could stay at home, make a quick black coffee, and don't be the black coffee's so gross. Become an adult. You don't need sugar in your mouth with everything you put in there. That sugar is a toxin when it's abused, which almost every American does. Just swallow your black coffee down, rinse your mouth with some water so it doesn't stain your teeth. Be an adult. To make black coffee at home costs what? Cents, right? I mean, if you get some really expensive beans, it might cost you 25 cents tops. So you just save between $5 and $10, not to mention how much gas you burned in the drive-thru. Every time I drive past the Starbucks, there's a line of cars with burning gas, waiting for their sugary beverage. Wasting money like this every day. For all you guys who are like, gambling is bad. Why? Well, why is it bad? Why is it not a more evolved, intelligent person to not waste your money on stupid stuff like Starbucks drive-thru and instead put that money into a parlay and turn 5 into 100, 5 into 500, 5 into 1,000, the kind of stuff people do in our community day after day. Again, the games are rigged, you guys. College and pro. Your election is rigged. Your news is rigged. I can't emphasize it enough. For all you guys that sit on the sidelines and goes, where? You guys, all this information was put out early yesterday morning on Patreon. Not to mention we've been talking about the Minnesota-Nebraska game every day on Patreon all week. That this looks like one of the best plays of the week. Great value and a double 52. Boom. Boom. By the way, the Minnesota coach, if I'm not mistaken, stayed on 25 losses, the reflection, verse number 25, Nebraska. And yeah, it's just, I mean, all this nonsensical thing people have. Well, I believe in this religion that said gambling is bad. Gambling's bad if you can't control yourself and you're an idiot. Yeah, it can be bad. I'll acknowledge that. But if you're a smart person and you can budget $5 a day, listen, I'm not wasting $5 a day on junk food, chips, processed crap, fast food, Starbucks. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm saving that a lot of Americans spend $20, $30 a day on that crap. I'm not wasting any of that money, and instead I'm saving it, but I'm also, I like the market a lot, taking advantage of the rig market. I like taking advantage of the rig sports. I budget $5 a day to give myself an ample opportunity every day to turn 5 into 50 to $100. That's what I've taught my community to do, and a lot of people have changed their life. Again, you guys have heard the stories. You've heard Cousin Mar call in and talk about how he found this knowledge when he was homeless, and he's no longer homeless. It helped him get off the street, find a place to live, reestablish himself, and get a permanent job. You know, plenty of stories like that in this community. And you got people sitting on the sideline going, oh, I heard it's BS. I watch Zach's troll that just clips everything he does and tries to make him look bad. That guy's a loser, you guys. That guy's a total loser, lives in his mom's house. Again, we cover a ton of content every day. He can't wait till one little thing's wrong. You know, something weird that happened last Saturday. We had a play for a major underdog to win in overtime, and they did. And the game was over. It was posted everywhere online that it was over. And then 10 minutes later, all of a sudden, they resumed the game and flipped the outcome. None of us have ever seen anything like that. That loser puts up a video like, ha, Zach thought he won, but he didn't. It's like, what kind of losers making videos like this? It's very possible that they totally changed the outcome of that game because of how many people got paid in our community. One gentleman in my community turned $10 into $2,000 off that game until 10 minutes later when they restarted the game and changed the outcome. We'd never seen anything like that before. I've never seen a game posted as final and over, and then 10 minutes later, they decided to resume it and change the outcome. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff we're doing over here, changing the game because of what's been exposed. Let's see. I got to hurry up and shoot. I'm long in the. Okay, hold on. One last thing. I got to wrap this up. I've been meaning to come on this week and cover some of these things, but did you guys see they made this Charlie Kirk National Day thing? Charlie Kirk National Day on his birthday. I want you guys to see this. As we talked about, he has the same birthday as George Floyd. They've compared how people reacted after George Floyd's death compared to his, like there's any comparison between these two things. Again, October 14th is also the day that they installed the 31st Superior General, Arturo Sosa, who's the leader of the Jesuits. I showed you day one when Charlie Kirk died, how it was all synced with Arturo Sosa. And, of course, they took down the video for hate speech. But look at this. The Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day was passed by our Congress on September 18th, right? That was the 78th birthday of the CIA, okay? 78 years to the day. October 14th is the day leaving 78 days remaining. So just think about this, right? And we know 78 is not arbitrary. Scottish Rite equals 78. Trump of Scottish ancestry reassumed the White House at age 78 earlier this year, and then he turned 79 on June 14th. Remember, Trump, top cards in the tarot deck are Trump cards. There's 78 cards in the tarot deck. It's all occult jokes. Rites of the Scottish Rite have been written by Jesuit priests. They share the In Merum Dei Gloriam motto. Jesuits also 78. Trump of Scottish ancestry. Jesuit educated at Fordham. In Jewish gematria, Freemasons, just the plural equals 397, which is the 78th prime. In light of this being all synced up with the 78th birthday of the CIA, remember the CIA's motto is the work of a nation, the center of intelligence, which equals 201, like Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America, 201. Again, that's the number of the Jesuits. And when the CIA was created, it was on the 201st day of the sitting Pope's age. The Jesuits are the military order of the Pope. National Intelligence, Catholic Pope, the Jesuit Order, all 201. Again, go back and listen to the clip of Howard Hunt years ago saying the greatest intelligence network in the world is not the CIA, but the Jesuits. So, again, notice everything that went viral that wasn't deleted online blamed Israel. Remember, State of Israel equals 201. It was created in a Jesuit ritual. And its first leader died 201 days from his birthday. But none of that information was taken down. Whose video was taken down? The one connecting it to the Superior General and the Jesuits. Yours truly. For the record, National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Its official title is 378, which is the 27th triangular number. From the day it was passed by Congress to the day it went into effect, 27 days. The ritual number. By the way, today's 27 days before King Charles's birthday for our second No Kings protest. Oh, by the way, also this, from the day the CIA was born in 47 to the day this passed, 4,070 weeks. Do you see the 47 in there? Remember, they just did the Christian cross on the Presidential Medal of Freedom for the first time ever, which was given to Erica Kirk on behalf of her supposedly late husband. And that was exactly 47 weeks into her age. I covered this earlier this week. Exactly 47 weeks into her age. the Christian cross. Christian has that 47 gematria, like government, like authority, like Republican, like Democrat, like Whig, like Trump, like DC. And we talked about it being the 9th anniversary of the Superior General that this ritual took place on. Like the Jesuit order's logo has the 9-inch nails in it. Again, that's the belief that Jesus was crucified with 3 9-inch nails on the 9th anniversary of the Jesuit leader being installed as the 31st. This tribute to Charlie Kirk, who died at 31. Sosa's the surname of the Superior General as well, which also equals 9. Charlie Kirk would have been 32. 32 sun rays on the Jesuit order's logo. IHS free Su Somnum Salvatore, the ritual 122 days after Trump's birthday. Again, shouldn't be hard to see who runs the show. The 3 nails represent triclavianism, which equals 60, like Charlie Kirk, like Donald Trump. We just had the 60th election, from Trump's hoax on July 13th to Charlie Kirk on September 10th, 60 weeks and 4 days. So, and one more thing. The Kiss guitarist, his death, Ace Frehley, dead at 74. Fateful number, killing 74, as we've already covered. And keep in mind, today leaves 74 days left in there that they're talking about the 6-7 code, which also has to do with killing. But look how perfect this is for the Ace guitarist. You could say that he died on the 183rd day of his age, or 182 days from his birthday. Ace Frehley, Kiss guitarist, both 182. He died on the day leaving 76 days left in the year. Guitar 76. He died 52 days before Gene Simmons' birthday. Gene Simmons, 52. And the thing about him dying at 74 is the 52nd composite number. Kiss has always been associated with the devil because they say that Kiss stands for Knights in Satan's Service, or Kids in Satan's Service. Just the word devil is 52, like Gene Simmons, the leader of the band. And again, he's dead at 74, the 52nd composite number. 74, fateful number. 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7-4. The Ides of March, remember the most famous killing in history, the killing of Caesar. But killing 74, Lucifer, also associated with Satan, 74. Masonic 74, occult 74, Masonry all throughout the world of entertainment. And by the way, just him leaving the band in 82. You see how Killing has the 74 and 43 connection? RIP has the 43, left the band 43 years ago. Masonic also has the 74 and 43 connection. See those numbers get paired together a lot. And he joined the band in 73, which would have been 52 years ago, like how he died 52 days from Gene Simmons' birthday. Yeah, Gene Simmons, devil, Knights in Satan's Service. So, again, show business, deadly business. The world of entertainment full of killing and jokes. And yeah, we'll see what comes out of today's No Kings protest. But for anybody who wants the sports intel, we'll be hopping over to Patreon right now. We'll be talking college football. Later today, we'll be talking NFL. Looking to take advantage of the rigged system even more. For all the dopes that come around and say, there's no value to this knowledge, you can't do anything with it. So I was like, I don't know how you could ever say that unless you were a troll or a moron. You could probably do more with this knowledge than anything else you've ever learned about in your life, and that's no cap. Market, crypto, stocks, proven to you 1,000 times over and over how the game is rigged, dead on calls, giving them out for free for years. Now a lot of the content is behind a paywall, but I don't charge much either. Again, stop wasting money on junk food daily. You could easily afford my Patreon for a month. So anyway, be hopping over on the Patreon. For all you guys who've been missing me, I do streams every day on Patreon. It's just time is short, you guys. And for the lackluster views that I continue to get on this channel, my motivation slips more by the day to do the daily news live streams. Yeah, it feels like, what's the point at this point? That's what it feels like. I got a good base of people who support on Patreon. I'm there every day. You guys want daily content, you might want to hop over on the Patreon. and learn how to use this knowledge instead of always saying like, I don't do that. That's not why. Why do you limit yourself to anything? If you're in a situation right now where you could use a few extra bucks because everything's so expensive, you should learn how to use this knowledge. You should learn how to save your money, not spend it on stupid stuff. And like I said, turn $5 into $50 to $100, which you can do literally on a daily basis if you're smart with this information. All right, True Seeker, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you to Jeremy Dorset. He said the Democrats are likely to win the rigged 2028 selection, and the third time will be the charm for a woman to get in. Possible. It won't matter who's in there. They all do the same thing, but they love the back and forth teeter-totter, so people keep pointing the finger. Oh, I thought that part. Two wings of the same bird. Shout out to Dale. Thank you, Dale, for always the generosity, and thank you to Roblanto always for the big generosity as well. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. I'll see you on the Patreon if you're on the Patreon. Till next time.